Okay, okay. I doubt if Mr. Adiola can hear us. So I'm not sure he has done the call thing. Oh, okay.
Well, I've never slept with that girl. Listen, I haven't done the same as well. Listen, again, you know I'm not just a married man.
Okay, while we wait for, we'll not wait for the others. Let's just go on first. They will join us. Um, okay, so let's start with an opening prayer. So I will call on who hasn't spoken yet. Well, okay. Ayodeji Olayemi Olamide, please, can you unmute and pray for us?
Father, in Jesus' name,
Amen.
Father, we give you all the glory for this moment. We thank you for this lecture. Father, be thou exalted, Lord, in the name of Jesus. Father, we commit what we are going to do today unto your hand. We want you to take perfect control in the name of Jesus. Father, we commit our instructor unto your care, O Lord. Well, you should speak through him tonight in the name of Jesus. And let all of us benefit from what we are going to hear tonight in the name of Jesus. Thank you, everlasting King of glory, for answered prayer. For in Jesus' mighty name we are praying.
Amen. Amen. Okay, so just for the benefit of the people who are not seeing my name is Ferdinand Kelikume. I am an IT person. I work with a tech company as an internal auditor and cybersecurity specialist. Just like we have seen during when we were trying to introduce ourselves, I have a couple of years in the bank, and before I came to the tech space, I can tell you very clearly that the difference is quite huge. You will do less and just be earning more money as against working your ass out. And I'm sure that some persons are trying to get home from work, struggling based on traffic, and that's why some persons are not even here yet. And it's understandable because your office requires you to resume in the morning and close in the evening, as against what some others are enjoying. So it is. I feel privileged that I'm one of the persons that will be helping us, guiding us through this. But the most important person in this, whatever we're doing now, is you that is participating. So it's important to know that fine, it might be free based on what the youth have been able to put together, but I expect us to take it very seriously. Some of us that are facilitating, we know what we charge when it's not in the church environment. And so, having to give you this for free, it will be our joy to see that, these things have been put in use and our lives are getting better. So that being said, we have a schedule already for this program. So I will just quickly share my screen and take us through that schedule while I will come back and touch on what we're supposed to do today. Please confirm once you can see my screen, just confirm. All right. Okay. So I'm guessing we can all see my screen, right? All right. Thank you. Okay, so week one, what we're going to be dealing with is, that's today, we're going to be dealing with the introduction to IT and basic computer skills. You know, we're going to be looking at what exactly are we talking about. I know we keep hearing, I'm a tech bro, I'm a tech person, I am an IT person. What exactly is this about? You know, we'll try to unravel all of that today. You know, for the benefit of those people that were not in church, they will have this training. Those persons that were in church that day, I'm sure that you already have an idea of what we are doing here today. So week two, we'll look at networking fundamentals, and that's next week. So what I'll be doing basically is, at every point in time, I'll be bringing on professionals, you know, some of my colleagues and some that are not also my colleagues, you know, who are experts in some of these areas to talk about their experience, tell us like a timeline, how long will it take you to be very, very successful in this field, you know. So that is what we're going to be doing. Week two, we'll talk about networking fundamentals. Week three, we'll talk about cybersecurity. Week four, we'll look at introduction to programming and product management. Week five, we'll look at databases and SQL. And this is where you would be hearing from a data scientist and all of that, and people that handle database. Then week six, we'll be talking about cloud computing. Week seven, we're looking at IT support, troubleshooting. Then week eight, we'll look at the soft skills that, you know, that would help you stay successful in this field. You know, so that is the much that I'll be doing all through this period. You can, you know, if you have a little idea of what the tech space is about, you can be very confident to say you cannot really get the necessary skills in just 8 weeks. And so for some of us, we had a lot of years trying to invest, you know, getting the right training, getting to attend courses, some of them free, some paid, you know. So, but what we're going to be able to do is to give you like a roadmap, a very clear roadmap that if you follow that roadmap, you know, in a couple of months, you'll be hitting very good jobs. You understand? So I will speak basically about the introduction to IT and basic computer skills. So I'll pause here. I don't know if there is, if I go into the topic for today, for those that were around when we had that program in church, you might have some concerns. Maybe you'll have done, you know, try to do some findings about this IT thing, or even try to start something, and maybe you are stuck somewhere and all of that. I want to take that feedback first before we continue with what we're discussing today. But if there are no feedbacks, if we're fine, then I will just quickly go on.
Okay, participants cannot unmute themselves at the moment. So anybody who wants to talk can raise a hand and then you can unmute themselves.
Okay. Yeah, I hope we know how to use the hand raiser effect on the Zoom. Yeah. So once you raise your hand, we'll just identify you and I like my sessions to be very participatory. I wouldn't want to just be the one talking, because at the end of the day, some persons might even be sleeping. Really, they will sleep off and keep the Zoom there. The Zoom will be zooming you. Okay. So I guess we're fine. I'll just proceed. But let's chat on. Let me have your feedback on the chat box, even if you cannot speak. Let me have your feedback on the chat box. Have you ever tried to start something in this line before and you were stuck somewhere? Are you just hearing it for the first time? That's the kind of feedback I'm asking for. Just click the raise hand effect, then you know you'll be given the platform to speak. or type on the chat. Favor, where you are is a bit noisy. Maybe you can type in the chat box. Okay, Favor, say just hearing for the first time. Okay. Okay, is that the only person? We are much on the platform already now, about 9 and be 8 of us. Mr. Smart said, okay, aligning with the other person, you're in for the first time. It's all right. Okay, okay. I would just quickly go into the presentation that I have. You know, it is, yeah, I will just share this and we'll move on. God will help us. Okay, so information technology. So what I will be doing today, it is not really going to be an academic exercise. More like what I'll be doing today is to explain some of those rules, because I know I had this presentation in church, but we really did not have time to delve deep into it. You know, but today there's an opportunity to have for us to really be able to touch on it a bit more as it relates to those roles and positions that you can hit in this industry. So let's just go into this first. IT refers to the use of computers, software, networking, and other technologies to store, retrieve, transmit, and manipulate data for various purposes. It encompasses a broad range of technologies and applications that enable individuals and organizations to manage and process information efficiently, rather. Okay, so this definition is very straight to the point. You know, it is ambiguous it is, you know, there's no ambiguity in this definition. It's very straight to the point. You know, before now we have had this kind of style where if you need to send an information, it's either you are sending a letter through the post office, or, you know, before the advent of telephones and all of that, you have to line up somewhere and wait for a time where your call will come, and that's the only time you can have information. Or if better still, you can even travel just to pass a simple information. But now, from your remote village, you can send a mail to somebody in UK, and in a matter of seconds, the person is giving you a response already. You know, you can send files, you can send a picture, you can send documents from point A to point B, you know, and it flies in seconds. You don't have to waste time, you know, waiting for the person to go to the post office or whatever means of way bill that you'll be doing, you know, to get whatever you are sending before the person that gets back to you. Life has really become very easy. And that is what technology has done for us, you know, so it makes life really easy for us. And thank you. That's to remind you that we are still in Nigeria. I have power outage. Okay, so well, I hope you can still see my screen. Yeah, so now what are the components of IT? What are the components of IT? What is even in this IT that people keep saying every time, IT? You know, first is the hardware, and that's the physical computer, your physical phone, the physical tab that you use, a physical whatever device, you know, that you use in this line is your hardware, the physical hardware, the physical device is called hardware. Then the software are those applications that run on these devices. There is no device that can run. Who is interfering? Please mute your mic. Thank you. All right, so there's no device that runs without softwares. For example, what I'm projecting to us is from PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a product of Microsoft, right? So PowerPoint, Microsoft is a software. Your phone, for example, has a collection of different softwares. You are listening to us or you're watching us now on Zoom, right? And that's or on YouTube. And that's a software that's been installed on your phone. Your phone is a collection of different softwares. You have your WhatsApp, you have your Zoom, you have different types of stuffs, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything like that. They are softwares developed by somebody, sometimes even people that are younger than us, really. So somebody saying, I can't hear anything. Maybe that person hasn't logged in. Oh. Yeah, the person hasn't done the right thing yet. That's why he or she cannot hear us. Okay, I hope that person is able to sort that out. So that is the second one, that's software. So we've been able to establish that if your physical computer, your physical tab, your phones, they are all hardwares, right? Then I've also established that the software are those applications that run either on your phones, or on your laptops or on your tabs or whatever device that you use. All right. Then the next one is networking. Networking has to do with connection of two devices that are naturally not connected. You know, for example, this laptop here is connected to a network provider. Let me use that word now. A network provider. That's maybe my Swift or whatever to now give me access to the internet, right? That's another part of networking. The other part of networking is I have system A here, there's system B, there's system C. I now connect those three systems together to be able to see each other. So if I log into this system, I should be able to see this other system. If I log into this other system, I should be able to see this other system. That's networking. All right. If you go to some offices, for example, in the bank, you will see that somebody upstairs can do something and print. And you call somebody downstairs and say, I sent something to the printer, please help me get that stuff I sent to the printer. That person's particular system is not connected to that printer. No, it is connected to a central network that every system in that office is connected to. All right. So once you're in that environment, you will be able to link to network to I want to use the right word now. Yeah, share common resources. That's the right word. Share common resources. You know, these systems can now work together. You know, in banks, you will see cables, but these days you really do not need cables. You can connect, there are several ways to, to connect your system. In my house here, there's a way I can connect, I network my phone and my laptop, and I can share files. Sometimes, because my laptop is an official laptop, they've deactivated, the ability to see, to be able to recognize devices. For example, if you put your flash drive in my system, my laptop cannot recognize a flash drive. So it's part of our security in the office to ensure that nobody, fixes any kind of device or flash drive that can corrupt the system. So if I have a file on my phone and I need that file on my laptop, the only possible way for me is to do a simple networking. You understand? Network my phone to my laptop. It's a very simple process. So it means even if I don't connect cables, my laptop can see my phone. I can share files. And I'm sure that some of us that are very good with computers now understand that even with your flash, is it flash here? Zenda, right? Zenda, yeah, you can share files between your laptop and your phone. Zenda is also a part of the networking thing that we're talking about because it is connecting two devices together. So networking doesn't really have to do with just computers. See, phones can network. And so when you bring your sender and I bring my sender and you do that, your network scanning, scan that you scan and the phones can see each other, what you have done is you have done networking. let's not, let's not deceive let's not use grammar to deceive ourselves. That's simple networking. You have connected two devices together, and that's networking. So I hope that we all understand that. So there's data management. This data management is a cash cow for a lot of young people. I had one person here, and during these sessions, I will invite him to also speak to us. I think that was 2021 after COVID. He started, he had an interest in data science, and he started a course in data science, did a few free courses, and some paid some dollars, and that was 2021. This is 2024. As of last year, he was already doing a job that was paying him over 600,000 naira in a month. So it means that if you are very dedicated, in a very short while, you can actually turn your finances around. So data management is very, very big, very, very wide. In fact, this course now is a course that you can even go to university and study. You will see people who have done masters in the UK, and you will see their certificate is data science. It's a very, very wide course. So what they do basically is this. Data science is making sense of data. Data is, how do I put this? Like collection of information. Yes, collection of information, that's data. Informations can come very scattered. For example, in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, we have millions of members, right? So if I'm a data scientist in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and Papa Debo says, Ferdinand, I want to know the number of members we have in Lagos, for example. Data science will allow me to, help me to do that. How I will do that? We just capture all the members of Redeem in the world. Let me use the world, for example. All the members of Redeem in the world. Let me see if I can meet this person that's giving us this feedback. Okay, I think that has been dealt with. All right. So I was talking about, let's say I was given an assignment, and what they gave me, what Redeem gave me is the file that contains every member of Redeem worldwide. That's a crazy job to do, right? And they say, that the Jew is saying, all I want to know, Ferdinand, is how many members do I have in Lagos? Can I have their data? That is big data, right? It's very wide. Where do I start from? Should I, will I now be looking for, looking at the names one after the other? Okay, this person is living in Ajegunle, Lagos. Okay, 1. This person is living in Mushi, Lagos. 2. This person is living in Agungi, Lagos. 3. This person is living in Aja, Lagos. 4. That is crazy. But with data science, all I need to do is just go on Excel. All right. Download that big file that I was given, the millions of members that Redeem has. Download that big file. Just, upload it on Excel, and, do a sorting and say, Excel, I want every member of Redeem in Lagos. You will see that Excel will help you bring out those members and keep them separate for you. That is data science. All right. Then you can now say, okay, because, you are a very good professional, you plot a graph and say Lagos 1.2 million, Abuja 1.4 million. I know we have seen graphs like that, where big data will just be compressed into a simple diagram, right? It can be like a ball shape. They will now divide it and say 20% is this. And I'm sure even when we were looking at the registration for this training, part of what we did was even data science, because we had to now say, okay, we had 20 members or 30 or 60 people that had registered. Out of the 60 people that registered, 39 was from 39 registered for IT, 40 registered for social media optimization. The other ones registered for, work tool and all of that. So what we have done is I've been able to now segregate those data into different sections, and it now makes more sense to the person that's looking at it. So if I own a company, for example, I can employ you as a data scientist and say, okay, just work with me. For example, Cowbell. Cowbell have several data scientists. So I want to use companies that we can relate to so that the examples will make sense to us. So Cowbell have several data scientists, and part of your work as a data scientist in Cowbell can be, we want to know the consumers of Cowbell in Orile, for example. How many people consume Cowbell in Orile? All you need to do is just how many stores we supply Cowbell to in Orile. Get all your file or whatever data that you have been presented with. Cowbell will give you now. They have their records of stock that they sell out to different locations. So they give you. And so you make sense of that, this thing, and you now narrow it down to those people in that location. And so you can now take Cowbell that from my analysis, in Orile, we have 2 million persons that consume Cowbell, or within the range of 2 million. Sometimes it might not be correct because you give marginal errors, we give marginal error limits and all of that. You understand? So that is data science. It is every other thing that you will hear later is also now make it look too touched for you. That is data science. They employ you to make sense of the big data they see every day. So if I'm a CEO, if I call you and say, can I know the number of people that we have in Nigeria? Can I know the number of young people that we have in Africa? Fine, the internet will help you, but sometimes it is also good if you can be able to do your own, you can make sense of that data that you're getting online, all right? So that is data management. So we'll move to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a field I know so much about. Our life is very simple, has been made easy because of technology, all right? You can do virtually everything with your phone. You can do virtually everything from your house. For example, I had an issue last year, December. I was supposed to do a transaction. I wanted to transfer money, and I didn't know that I had exceeded my limit. I did not know. So I tried to do a transaction, and I was getting that kickback that you have exceeded limit, and it's good actually. So what I did was, they gave me an option, upgrade your blah blah blah. I just clicked the upgrade, and they said upload your ID. Uploaded ID. Uploaded. I don't even know what else I uploaded, whether it was utility bill or something like that, and it just opened, and they upgraded me, to the next level, so I could do my transactions. Now, I flashed back, some years back. That kind of transaction would have kept me stranded. In fact, I would have called even my enemy begging for money, right? But now, just in the comfort of my house, I could do that. I did not have to go to any bank, line up. I know I'm speaking English. So all of these comforts comes with a lot of risk, all right? That you can be in your house and send money to somebody in UK. Somebody in UK can send money to you. It comes with a lot of risk. So what these guys do, these cybersecurity people do, is that they ensure that the space where those transactions are moving and going from and coming from, is safe enough so that at the point where you are sending, somebody doesn't intercept your money and turn the money to another account. You understand? So that's why every company has a set of cybersecurity policies, that ensure that end to end, what it means is somebody's in. Okay. So what it means is end to end means this is point A, this is point B, right? This money is moving from point A to point B. What the bank will do for you is to ensure that you see this space where this space where this money will move from here to here. There is no interception within this space to now change the direction of that transaction. All right, that is cybersecurity. Then what do we also do in this field? We educate our staff on, what they should do online and what they should not do online, so that you don't come online. You don't come online one day and everything that you have built as a company, is just dashed. For example, we conduct some form of trainings for staff, and we tell them, when you see links, in your email that is not coming from an official email, please don't click that link. All right. Those are the kind of jobs that we do. Then there are also technical aspects to cybersecurity that will be introduced to as we move on. But essentially, that's what it means. It just means ensuring that the cyberspace that we're operating on is safe enough, for our companies to thrive, right? So then information systems, this one is a bit more technical. What it means is they are built systems, they are configured systems that every company has sign up for or sign up to. Every bank has a system, every tech company has a system, so over time, when you come into those companies, they will introduce you to the system that they use. For example, I happen to be a lead auditor in ISO 27001. What is ISO? ISO is International Organization for Standardization. You understand? So what they do is they have a set of rules, policies, procedures that every company, that is playing in cyberspace, that has any tech-related transaction, must assign to, you must have gotten certification. I don't know if you understand, to be able to, play in such space. For example, you cannot be in Nigeria and say you are a bank and you don't follow CBN rules, for example. You can't be a bank in that space. You cannot. For example, I think we're all aware that Heritage Bank had an issue recently, and it's about their valuation. Actually, it's nothing to it wasn't mismanagement, right? Kind of. It was just about valuation. Some set of policies changed and they couldn't meet up. You understand? And Heritage Bank is gone. Now, just imagine that, all your life, all you have done is just to work for Heritage Bank as a cashier. No additional skill, nothing. When the job goes now, you are going to be, throwing your CVs around looking for another cashier job, right? But let me shock all of us. My company, we are building a software, and when we are done with that software, a lot of bankers are going to go home. What that software does is, for example, you raise a complaint that, okay, I had a withdrawal and I didn't get physical cash, but I was credited. I was debited, right? You would lodge that complaint, send email. Sometimes you send email, they will not respond because there's a human factor in it. No matter how you handle that kind of complaint, it has to go to somebody who will check the system and now revert back and tell you we'll do this, but it will take us 4 working days, 2-3 working days, and all of that. The software we're building is a software that takes your complaint and addresses that complaint to the final. So you are saying you have your bank was debited, but you didn't get cash. That software will really investigate and be sure that this person did not get cash and do the reversal. We'll plug that software to NIBS. NIBS is Nigerian Interbank Settlement. So just imagine that if there is no need for you to go to the bank to resolve complaints, do you think that banks will have more than 2, 3, 4 staffs in the banking hall? It will be an issue, really. So this space is where, as a young person, you have to invest a lot of time and money so that you are not left in the dark. Okay, so I don't know if we're still together. I don't know if we're still together. Let me be sure that we're following. You can drop a chat on the chat box. Drop a chat on the chat box and tell me we are fine. And then, or if you have a question so far, you can draw my attention to it. All right. All right. So I've been talking about, and I'm not, if there are bankers on the call, please, this is not an attempt to make your work look difficult. I'm just trying to be sure that we are helping ourselves really, because where the world is going to, I'm sure that before we had more bankers. For example, those days when you go into EcoBank, you see that the old counters are filled with staff, right? But these days you go to the bank and you see that some of the counters are left empty because the bank has seen that it's not profitable. It's even better to have technology help us do some of these things than having people do this. Somebody said something when we were traveling. I was traveling a couple of days back, and somebody said something, and it didn't struck me. And the person asked a question, and I'm like, okay, when last did you use the ATM? The ATM machine. So I want to take that question. Let's chat on the chat box. When last did you use an ATM machine? When last? I have not used an ATM. Personally, I've not used an ATM machine in more than 1 year. No, what's more than 1 year? In over 2 years, I've not used an ATM machine to withdraw money or to do any transaction, really. So let me see our responses. When last did you use an ATM machine to withdraw money? When last did you use an ATM machine? Okay, somebody saying, I can't remember, 8 months, January. Okay, the last time I used it was when Emefiele happened. Hey, Mr. Smart, well done, sir. Okay, so I'm still waiting for others. I think 2019. Whoa, before COVID, Mr. Gideon. Bukola, they say I can't remember. Oh, geez. Okay, so you see that when ATM machines came, it was looking like a big solution. You know, this one will solve all our problems. So in fact, some people went to church to thank God that I will never queue in a bank again. So ATM solves all my problem. And at the end of the day, they now found out that sometimes they will slot their cards. ATM will now hold the card and not release money, not release card. Okay, give me my card or give me my money. Let me go. You know, the ATM will hold your card, hold your money. You will still go to the bank and start speaking grammar. Later, the bank says, if the ATM machine swallows, if another bank swallows our ATM card, that card will be destroyed. I don't know if you remember that policy. So if, for example, I have an Access Bank card, I will be looking for an Access Bank ATM. If I have EcoBank, I will be looking for EcoBank ATM, jelly. So if they swallow it, I can say it's your bank that, you know. So this proves to us that if you don't embrace changes, you will just be left alone. You'll be left in the dark. So we must open our minds to changes. Sometimes changes comes with a lot of difficulties. It comes with a lot of difficulties. Sometimes it comes very easy, you know, but if you don't open your minds to changes, whoa, you will be left in the dark. All right, so we'll look at the IT roles now. And let me be sure I'm not, okay, we're still out of time, right? Okay, so we'll look at system administrators as the first IT role here. Now, who is a system administrator? You know, I remember I spoke about this extensively during the training in church. Now, a system administrator is the person that is like your secretary in the office, all right? But this time around, his job is system-wise. So he administers the system, he resolves system issues for both the internal and external staff. Now, when you come into an organization, for example, you get a job in a bank or anywhere, and they give you a laptop, there's somebody that does all the setup in that laptop. You set your Zoom up, set your email platform up, set whatever meeting platform that they use, what your applications are you using for the work, the person will set it up, you know, then do some networkings, connect your system to the main router or the central this thing and all of that. So that's the job of the system administrator. You know, so for this particular role, you have to know the computer. So it's not just enough to, you know, say I can skim my way. No, you have to start from the beginning or from the beginning. just have to start from the beginning to say, okay, what is even this computer? How do I do this? When this USB enters the system, what happens? What is inside there? Is this from motherboard? Some of those questions are questions that you must be able to answer before you can say you want to take up the role of a system administrator. You understand? So then the second one is network engineers. You can liken the two of them and say, okay, maybe they are related, but they are a bit different. Now, what the network engineers do is that, they network the systems. For example, in very big corporations, it's not sometimes in very small businesses, small companies, one person can be the system administrator and be the network engineer. But in very big companies where there are a lot of systems, maybe like over 200 PCs, over 300 desktops, you need a network engineer. What the person does is ensures that at every point in time, all the systems are networked to a central point. Once there's a disconnect, that person should know there will be something that will trigger to that person and tell the person, no, this system has been disconnected. For example, I started by saying that my system, we did something on the system, and what that does for us is you cannot put flash drive in our PC and the flash drive will be recognized by the system. It will not recognize it, right? So what I do is I network my phone. So if I am a system guru, I'm very wicked, very bad engineer, there are things I can do on this system and I will disconnect it from the central source. It is the work of that network engineer to know that this system number has been disconnected from our network. Why? They will call you and say, okay, what are you doing? You have disconnected your system from the network and all of that, and they will resolve. If it wasn't a deliberate act, they will resolve it and follow through. And these network engineers are very, very key, because if a system that's supposed to be on a central network, is affected, the whole system in that network can be linked. For example, I am a scammer. If I'm able to get a hold of a system that is on a central network, every system on that network, I can be able to see whatever, or see some information in those other systems that I can use against the company. So this role is a very critical role. Then we have the software developers. Each of these roles, during the course of this program, I will bring professionals who, also talk to us about their experience, so that, some of these things makes more sense and we can relate more to it. So now we talk about software developers, and this is where, this is the most rampant in all of the IT. Once you hear I'm a tech bro, the next question is, I'm a software developer. So I think the next question should be back end or front end. Now, what is backend? Front end, firstly, is what we are seeing on my system. I'm sure you can see that there's IT roles, system administrator, network engineers. You can see that on my system, right? This is front end. Front end has to do with the aesthetics of what you can see, and most times, front end engineers are UI UX designers. So they help you to design all of these things, make the software, make the thing very sweet. Because if an engineer gives you the codes that he has written behind whatever you are seeing now, you cannot make sense of it. For example, give you command C colon 2// this blah 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 command. So if you will not know what is happening there, But all of this interaction happens with, so the front end and the back end. When you build the front end, the back end guy develops the code. The back end and the front end, they now link whatever they have built together. And so when I click software developer, for example, this software developer that I click will respond to the initial code that has been written by the back end engineer. You understand? So the front end engineer is about the aesthetics that you can see. For example, when they build a software, you see this one will be working on the front part. The other person who is a more technical person is working on the codes. You'll be writing codes and all of that. You understand? So this one will take a lot of time trying to dissect all of this, but let's just move on. So the backend engineer handles some of those very technical codings and all of that. While the front-end engineer, do more of designs, and all of that. So as time goes on, we'll get to understand it better. So then database administrators and data scientists, I know that I have, spoken about this before now. The guys that you give data to and they make sense of it. Then the database administrators, every company has a database. And database is a function of what they receive from customers as they visit. For example, I go to the bank. Bank will say, drop your phone number, I'll drop my phone number. Bank will say, drop your BVN, I'll drop my BVN. Drop this, I'll drop that. I'll drop your picture. That all those information that I've dropped, they now have like a database where all of those things are stored. Now, because of infrastructural issues, banks and major companies, not just banks, companies do not really keep some of this information in a hard drive or save it in one hard disk or save it in one flash drive and keep it somewhere. And so when rats enters the office and touches where that flash drive is, everything is done. They start looking for your passport. You go to the bank and you say you want to withdraw and you sign, and the person that wants the account officer that's supposed to confirm your signature or the mandate that they have against what you have signed will now look at their system and they can't see it because it's saved in one hard drive that has been corrupt. You understand? So, but now what happens is all of these things are done in the cloud. All right. So you give me your information, and I just saved most of them. They have cloud administrators where people that they work with to ensure that their information are saved up there in the cloud. Now, this is even what we do. It's just that maybe the grammar is going to make it look like it's difficult. This is what we do basically. For example, your phone. If you lose your phone and you log your Gmail in a new phone that you're getting, all right, you are going to get your pictures. If your pictures have been backed up, you're going to get your pictures. And if you have saved your numbers on that particular Gmail address, you're going to get all your phone numbers and all your pictures back, right? So if I lose my phone, I am not even bothered about phone numbers. So the time of, I lost my phone, no, I don't have anybody's phone number. You have not done the right thing, really. If you save your numbers and you do you back up your file once in a while and all of that, you should have all your information. Even when you lose your phone, all you need is get another phone, log in your email, everything will come back. Then you can say, okay, maybe you download the softwares, maybe download WhatsApp, but every of your information, the phone numbers, the pictures that you have saved, your email, the messages that you have sent, in fact, everything will be restored. All right. What you have done is that you have saved in the cloud. And that's why if I hear things like fire, there was a fire incident in my house and I lost all my certificates, I will just laugh at you, really, because you don't have any business keeping any physical document that you don't have saved online. It is a waste of space. You have everybody's Gmail account has the capacity to save over more than 20 gig of data. All right. So if at this time and age you still have all your certificates kept in your briefcase, you hide it where rats cannot touch it. Maybe because God bless you, it's the kind of rat that is in my village. They will go eat your uni, leave the university. You can be going around with your varsity. But these days, for example, as I'm sitting here, if you tell me, send me your credentials, I can send you my credentials up to my primary school, everything now as I'm sitting here. I don't need to look for it, go to open my wardrobe and start scanning. No, I have everything saved online. All right, so that's what you have done is you have done database. You have a database of your own information and you have saved this somewhere. So you're a database administrator. So that's the kind of job you do for a company. So at the company level, you are doing it for a larger number of people, right? So customers come with their BVN, they come with this one. So all those things, once the collecting officers do collect all those stuff and they save, it comes to your desk as a database administrator and you back up those information either in the cloud or whatever service that the company subscribes to. All right. So I hope we understand this. I hope we understand this. So I have spoken about cybersecurity analysts before, and I said that the job here is very direct, because almost everything we do now is online, is web-based. Our life is online, really. And that's why I keep telling people that, the amount of information you share online is very, very important and critical. For example, you are a person that every of your new achievement is celebrated online. There are some people who are keeping those information and are waiting for a day that they will hit on you. All right. So you have to ensure that you are cyber smart. Fine, the phone is very simple to operate. So anywhere you are, you can do a video of yourself, record your house, record you're in the market. Cheese, I'm in the market, tomatoes, 200. You are, where else do they do that rubbish again? Anywhere they go to, they ensure that, there's a live coverage of everything they are doing. You must understand that you are putting your life in danger. If not now, maybe later. We cannot all be sure of what our status will be tomorrow. You can be a very comfortable person now, managing your space, no pressure, it's just you and your family. And boom, one government tour comes and you're all over the country. And, you have had different pictures of you online, even the one on swimming truck, the one you were wearing one bikini, one whatever, you have posted everything, your every life location that you are. In fact, it goes on and on. So cybersecurity is being aware of the kind of threats that can come from your exposure online. The world we live in now is almost 70 to 80 or 90% online, right? And that's why you keep hearing things like fake life because everything is online. So people want to impress you because they know you are going to see it. So you have to understand that, the level of information we share is very critical, because the more information people have about you, the likelier the possibility of their attacks. For example, a few months ago, I will not call their names because it's against my ethics to do that. A company, a notable, one of these banks that are springing up, the online banks, not the conventional banks, the normal online banks that are springing up. One of them, the name, I will not call the name, had a major issue. They had a network challenge. And what happened? Somebody breached their network and, tampered with a lot of things. People could not access their savings. People could not do transfers. And just because of that simple attack that day, they've lost billions. Because even me that is speaking here, I know I called somebody to say, Alpha, I hope you don't have money in so place, so please take it out. These guys are having issues. They did not say it. They did not tell people, but maybe because you just try to log in that particular time and you observe, but maybe those of us in this space will know when they have challenges, because we keep seeing, we have colleagues who work there, we have friends who work there and all of that. So they share information. We have some groups that will discuss some of these challenges, and, we offer help, but we cannot just say, okay, we want to divert some of those information out. So the space where you operate in must be safe. And who ensures that it is safe? It is the cybersecurity analyst. So this person should be able to know when there is an attack coming. No attack happens in the bank or in the tech space that happens once. No. There's never going to be a successful attack that happens once. They try today, they will fail. They will try tomorrow again, they will fail. They will try this pattern, it will not work. For example, they will try to break into people's savings. They will now find out that the security here is crazy. They will try to do another one, it will not work. They will try this one. So when they are doing making all those attempts, there are systems, there are softwares that would help you as a cybersecurity analyst to see that somebody is trying to break our defense. And that's why once you hear that, they've broken they were able to break into any bank or maybe like MTN. I remember that they had an issue a couple of months ago where, people that borrowed money, all their debts was paid off. I don't know if you will remember that particular day that happened. Yes. you know, all their debts were paid off. And people were like, God, oh, show, well, you know, thanking God for clearing their debts. It was just an attack, really. It was just somebody who is very smart somewhere, you know, did some mago, and, you know, that happened. You understand? And maybe a couple of hours or days later, MTN now started crediting people back with their loans. And so that you were able to say you have paid it, you did not pay it. It was somebody that, you know, was just playing with our system. That simple incident can make somebody lose their job. Not somebody, people would have lost their job because of that thing. Because you should have seen these people trying to break our system, and you should have raised a defense. All right. So it's just very simple. For example, when you, in your house, you have fence, right? You have built fence. The reason you have built fence is because you don't want intruders to just gain access into your house. So when intruders gain access into your house, you now look at your fence and be like, this fence is not tall enough. Okay, you now increase the length of the height of the fence. And you, after a while, they still come again, and you be like, what else can we do? Okay, now put that barbed wire, what do they call it? You put that wire, and maybe after a while, you still find out that people are still encroaching your space. You be like, what else can we do? Then you now come with maybe electric wire that can shock anybody that touches it. Everything you are doing is to ensure that your space is safe. And that is exactly what the cybersecurity officer does. All right. So every point in time, you are looking at the system, you're looking at the network, you're looking at every part of your company, and you're sure that nobody can breach any of your defense. All right. So we'll delve much into that later. Part of this I would do that we might not even know is installation of what's the word? I want to make for following. There's something we install in our phones and laptops that helps us defend against some stuff on our phones and laptops. I would let me wait if there's somebody that can help us with that answer, really. I want to be sure we're following. Oh, Gideon, go school. So yeah, the antivirus is part of what we put on our phones, on our laptops, to ensure that, you know, there are no forms of intrusion. So nobody can just breach anything. And I know that there was a time the government banned. Yes, I've seen it. Antivirus. Yes, thank you. So there was a time government said nobody should use Twitter in Nigeria, and we're using something to use Twitter. So let me see who else can answer that. Government said nobody should use Twitter in Nigeria, but some Nigerians were still using Twitter. I mean, the chat was waiting for you. Oh, yeah, let's.
Yeah, you were, but I don't think
government said nobody should use. Wow. Yeah, VPN, firewall. Yeah, firewall is here. Firewall is exactly what most companies use on their devices. So firewall, VPN, yeah, we're saying the same thing. So who can tell us the meaning of VPN? Type the meaning on the chat box. VPN. What's the meaning of VPN? What's the meaning of VPN? Some people are checking Google. People are checking Google to get the meaning of VPN. I will expel you from this class.
No.
Yes, something, Mr. Gideon, is something private network, not really something. There's something huge. It's virtual private network. It's not virtual page network. Yeah, virtual private network. All right. So just from the name, it's better most times to know the full meaning of some of these things so that you can have, without even going through a class, you already can, you know, you have some sort of understanding of what that thing is already. You understand? So it is called virtual private network. So what it means is it keeps your browsing private, right? Another person cannot see what you are doing. So if you say VPN now, and if I set my VPN and say I'm in UK, you that is in UK, if you check my location, it will show you that I'm in UK. All right. If you are in Nigeria and you say you change your virtual network VPN to change your VPN location to Canada, somebody in Nigeria will think that you are in Canada. And that's why sometimes some people say fall for the fraud of maybe because the person was able to buy some numbers online, and so they send messages to people, and those people will now feel like, this one they are abroad, because they are sending a message from a phone or from this thing, and you now see that the location is showing US. So in your mind, they're in US. So what that thing does is a virtual private network that takes you from where you are to another virtual location. Virtual means something that is not happening in real life, so it takes you from where you are, keeps you in another location, and gives people the impression that you are in this location. All right, so it's just like what we're doing now. It is looking like we're all in the same room. All right, but in the actual sense, are we in the same room? No, we're not in the same room. Some of us are not even in Nigeria, some are even not even in Lagos, but it's looking like we're in the same room. And that's why you say we'll do the training virtually. You understand? So it means that we're not going to be together, but it's assumed that we're together. And that's what VPN does. So it gives you an assumed location that people looking at it will think is with us. All right. So the IT support specialists / help desk technicians, I think this has some connection with the system administrator, but it's a bit different because it handles support issues. This person handles support issues. For example, we sell a software. We sell a software to you, and we tell you this software can do this, and that. All right. And you try to use our software, and it's not giving you that result. All right, we told you that this software can deliver these results, but you try it and it's not giving you those results. If you call our company to complain, there are people that has the technical ability to tell you to now, Oga, please press this, Oga, please touch this. Those guys are IT support specialists. All right, you can still call them help desk technicians. So if you call those numbers, for example, Microsoft has a lot of them, really. So if you buy a Microsoft software, for example, this PowerPoint that we're using now, and I try to do this sharing now, or I try to do this display, and I'm unable to do this display, I can reach out to Microsoft and say, please, I tried to do display and it's not working. How do I resolve this? Microsoft, whatever, I don't know how they do the connection, but they will now refer you to a technician who will, on that phone call, respond to you, address that issue, and you now rate the person's performance. Is that person's performance rating that the Microsoft will look at and now say, okay, this person is doing well, pay this person. Do you understand? Or retain this person or fire this person. So if you're able to be, let's say, you have a caseload of 10, you must resolve at least 10 cases in a day, and you resolve 10 or 9, or let's say you resolve 10, then you have a rating of, I'm sure we know 1 star, 2 star to 5 star, right? You have a rating of 4 star, maybe like 8 of the customers that you responded to gave you a rating of 4 star. It means that you did very well with how you were able to address their issues. So the IT support specialists can work in-house and both in-house and both to outsiders. For example, if I have an issue with my system, there's somebody I will call, not just a system administrator, an IT support specialist. What I would do is, Mr. This, I'm having issues with this. I want to access this information, but I cannot access. Okay, please stay on the call. Get me check. Back. Can you check again now? Oh, you can access it now. Oh, thank you. Fine. That's an IT support related responsibility. So I'm sure that I've been able to speak on this. Now, when we move on, I'll be sharing on the group, I'll be sharing some training links, because we can all bear me witness that, these training sessions will not be sufficient enough for us to have the necessary information that we need to function in this space. All right. So there is need for you to enroll yourself into trainings that, sometimes the trainings are free, sometimes they are very cheap, really, you can afford it. You understand? So you can start those trainings, and so that when we come back for the next sessions, you have something already that you are doing that is keeping you afresh. And the essence of what we're doing this night is so that I'm explaining, so that we can all listen to what I'm explaining and make a decision and say, I think I can function in this aspect. And that's why I'm taking time to explain each of the roles, so that you pick because IT is very wide. IT is very wide. IT is, but I can't even explain how wide IT is, but IT is so wide that you cannot say, I want to do everything. Nobody can even do everything. You will break down, really. You'll be jack of all trade, master of none at the end of the day. So it's important that sessions like this, we look at what I've explained, and you now look at the various roles and pick one and start work almost immediately. All right. So then the last one here is the quality assurance. That's the testers. So before any software is rolled into the market, all right, there are people who ensure that those softwares are tested. There are people who ensure that those softwares are tested. So their job is to now download those software. Before they roll out any software, there's a test version for every software. So the test version of that software, for example, we're building Facebook. Let's say we're building Facebook as a software. If we're done building it, we will not just send Facebook software to Play Store or to Apple Store or to any store. No. Our testers in-house, the quality assurance officers, the testers, will pick that software, download it from our internal web or whatever we're using, download it, install that thing, and try to, use it. And now say, okay, Oga developer, this, you said if I click this will happen. It's not happening like that. You note it down. So all of those your observations, the testers will now, the developers will now look at those observations that you have made and say, okay, we need to correct this, we need to correct that, and correct this and correct that. You understand? So that is the work of the QA officers. So they test those softwares before they roll it, before the company rolls it into the market. You understand? And I'm sure some people are saying, this one is very sweet. So it's not simple. When you start taking the training, you'll find out it's deeper than that. But that is extensively what they do, really. There could be other technicalities around how they do the testing, but that is the primary function of a QA officer. Test whatever we're sending to the market and be sure that that thing is in order. If there are issues, if there are areas that need corrections, you tell the software developer. So which means that for you to be a very good quality assurance officer or a tester, you have to have an idea of software development. Because if you don't have an idea of software development, you might not be able to point out an error. And some of those errors, mind you, might not be an error that an ordinary user can observe. It can be an error with the back end. It can be an error with the front end. But if it's an error with the front end, oftentimes it's easier to understand, or it's easier to, say, okay, yeah, this is the error. But if it's an issue with the back end, for example, I click apply, all right? And instead of the thing to open the next page, it's skipping a page and it's going to, maybe upload documents when I've not entered my maybe name, phone number, blah, blah, blah. And it now goes to the page where I need to upload picture. So it means there's a page that has been skipped, and that has to do with a script that has been written under. So it means instead of the apply to give me the next page where I will enter those name, my first name, last name, or whatever information that they want from you on that next page. Instead, it's skipping that page and it's going to the other page. So if you're not technical enough, you might not know that actually this problem is not from the front end engineers, it's from the back end guys. So it means that you must have some level of understanding of what software development is. I would try to be a bit faster. I'm sure we're running behind them. We still have time, anyways. Okay, so then the next one is cloud solutions architects. When you remember that I said that the most times informations are saved in the cloud. Now, there are cloud services, multiple cloud services. The one that Microsoft offers, the one that Azure offers, different cloud services. Do you understand? So this person's job is to ensure that anything that we're saving is secure, and the person is constantly checking to ensure that whatever solutions that we have saved is safe and nobody's breaching it. All right. So that is the work of the cloud solution architect. When we move on, you would have a clarity on some of these things. Then IT project managers and product managers. This is another area that, I would bring somebody who is a product manager and who is very successful in the field as we move on to also speak to us about his experience. This area, this product and project, yes, I want to merge product and project. So if you find second is IT project, then this one now is product management or managers. Now, if a company wants to develop a software, all right, there is somebody whose job is to draw a plan of how that software will look like. You remember that I said now that, for example, the initial architecture or the initial planning was that if I click apply, the next page will be the page that will show where I would enter first name, last name, and all those details. It is the job of the product manager to do that designing and come up with a written document. Most times it's a written document because most times the product managers are not developers, but they will be able to write out what they want, how they want the software to look like. From the point of login, click login and to take us to so page. The page will have name, blah, blah, blah. All those things will be documented. It is the product manager that does that thought or that does that thinking, right? So now, it is also the job of the product manager. In some cases, in some other cases, companies can hire research and development officers. That's R&D. So the R&D officers will go to the market and find out the kind of problem that is in the market. Now, if you find out what IT does specifically is to solve problems. My company, our motto is solving real life problems using softwares, using information technology. Do you understand? So what the R&D guy or the product manager or the project manager does is they go to the market. Oh, fine. They live in the society, so they already know what the problem is. And they recommend to management and say, I feel people are having issues with banking. If we develop a software that can help them, carry out transactions without going to the banking, or we're going to hit it big. For example, the person that came up with OPay, MoneyPoint, Kuda, PalmPay, those guys are billionaires. I will not say they are millionaires. The product managers that came up with that design, they are millionaires by now. Because you brought an idea that have completely turned the whole country around. If there's anybody on this call that doesn't have OPay, at least you have Kuda. If you don't have Kuda, you have PalmPay. If you don't have PalmPay, you have MoneyPoint. You must have one. So just imagine that out of the 40 million, according to the statistics, out of the 40 million banked Nigerians, people that use bank, out of the 40 million, the exact 40 million users also have an account with each of these people. So you see that the work of the product manager, project manager, or the research and development guys is even more important than the work of the software developers. And that is why in most companies, the product managers earn higher salaries than the software developers, because these guys that are developing are working on the idea that you have created. All right, I just explained to us that in my company, we're trying to build a customer service software that takes your complaint from the initiator, that is you that is laying that complaint, to the point where resolution has been done. So you say you have issues with do 20,000, you didn't see 20,000. That solution that we're coming up with, we pick that your complaint, address it, and you will see your 20,000 naira back in your account in less than 24 hours. It is somebody that has taught that process. The product manager has designed that app the way he wants that thing to look like, from that point where you are sending, where you are registering, logging in your complaints, from that point to the point where it is resolved and you are getting a feedback and the company is getting a mail that this issue has been resolved. So it is the thinking of the product manager, that brings all of this into fruition. For example, to the laptop we're using, the phone that you use, is a product of somebody's thoughts. Somebody sat down. I was there just yesterday, I was thinking, and I was like, iPhone came up with some of these their phone products that had this big lens camera. I'm sure that we've seen that. I think that's iPhone. Is it 12, 30? I don't know. I'm not an iPhone person, but I know that it's one of those. Some of those iPhone came with one big camera lens, right? Like 3 of it. You found out that somebody thought, some of these Android guys thought that this thing can actually drive markets. And they now developed, the new set of Androids that they've developed now have that big lens camera. I'm sure I've seen it. So what is behind that thought? What do you think they have done? I want to get our feedback. I want to be sure that we're together, because I'm also learning as I'm teaching you. So what do you think has happened? Okay, yes, I will address your question. Cookies that pop up in messages. Okay, I'll address that question when we're done. Okay, but I just asked a question that, what exactly do you think they've done with that kind of move? They had, because they saw that iPhone had that big camera lens, and people, it was moving, people could kill to get that iPhone, right? So they now developed Android phones with big camera lens, like 3. Some of the camera, if you see the lens that is, according to my friend, that is with this big camera, it will snap rubbish. So let me have your feedback. What do you think they've done really with that kind of move? I want to be sure we are following. If you want to, I'll appreciate if you can even have 1 or 2 persons speak as against just the typing. So if you want to speak, let me see your hand in the chat box, and I would allow you speak. Let me stop sharing so I can see. Yeah. So if you want to speak to what I just said, can I see your hands? Are we still together even? Because silence is. Are we together, my people? Like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, I'm here and I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, so I'm wondering why no chat, no response.
Right here.
Okay, so I just asked a question. I said, I need your thoughts really on what you think that they've done really. Because iPhone had that, and the next thing they did too was to come up with their own. Well, came up with their own, and the camera lenses.
Láti. Mo ti get you.
I'm waiting for us really. I want to be sure that I'm not just talking to myself.
They want to stay relevant as well. Like if BlackBerry was able to upgrade themselves to the standard of the phones that came when everything was changing. They might still be available now, but because maybe I don't know what happened, they went. But Android was trying to meet up with what people really want, because they need to do a survey to know what people want about what's the thing that is in that people were like, how will I put it? What interests people? What the interest of people buying iPhone? So they want. I believe they want to stay relevant in the market. That's the reason why they too came up with their own strategy as well to market their products.
Yeah, thank you, man. Somebody said imitation. We are both correct. So what happens in this space is there's a lot of competition, really. There's a lot of competition. And if you find out what the competitive advantage of your your competitor, let me use that word, has, you would want to make that advantage too. So they thought that, or they felt that people were buying that phones because they believed that because that lens was big, that's why that picture is very fine. And they forgot that even before that particular iPhone came with that lens, the other iPhones here had very clear pictures. All right. So what Android now did was to give you the same camera, but now cut a very, very big glass and put there for you. If you open the Android phone, it is still the same amount of camera. If they tell it's 15 pixels, you will see it's 15. If they tell it's 20 pixels, it's 20 pixels. You understand? But what they just did is to imitate that thing that iPhone did, just to ensure that in case you are buying iPhone because of that thing, we still have it too, so you can buy from us. Those who logged in with device name should please tell us their name for. Okay, yes. So if your name is not showing on your device, kindly type your name on the chat box so that we can identify you for attendance purpose. All right. So that is exactly what they've done with that thing. So they just want to be sure that in case those people are buying that phone because of the camera size, we have it too, so you can also buy from us because we have that same camera size. All right, so that is it basically. Let me continue the sharing. I go back and finish this up. Right. Okay, so I've spoken about the IT project managers, the DevOps engineers, still related to the software developers. We'll talk to all of this later. We'll speak to all of this later. So we have the chief CTO, the chief technology officer. In most companies, this guy is like the third person in command after the MD and maybe his assistant, or maybe the MD and maybe the MD really. MD and his assistant. The next person in every tech company is the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer. In some companies, you can hear COOs, Chief Operating Officers, yeah. But here it's called Chief Technology Officer. So his work is everything that concerns technology in that company. He plans it. He's the one that assigns staff. He employs staff because he knows you have this what's it called, skill. We employ you as a developer. But really, there is nobody that gets to this position without having to either be a developer or a product manager. You must have done something before to give any company the boldness to hire you as a CTO, because the job of a CTO is crazy. You plan almost every move that the company makes in terms of technology. You understand? So I just put this one here so in case tomorrow you hear when they say, this person is a CTO, you say, that boy not tell us what him is CTO. Is he hiding this one from us? So that is the CTO. Then we have the ITIS auditors. Just the same way you have auditors in the regular office environment. What auditors do is they check financial reports, They check to be sure that, people are following policies and procedures. They check to be sure that, people are not misappropriating funds. So but nobody should ask me if we have auditors in Nigeria, because we have auditors in Nigeria and they are even more knowledgeable than most of us, but they have chosen the path they have chosen, right? So IT and IS auditors, really, their job is to ensure, that the lay down procedures. For example, in my company, we don't use open source codes. Open source codes are codes that you can get online. For example, as a software developer, you might not be writing all your codes. There are some codes that you can get in some stores online. Some of the codes, you can just get them anywhere, download the codes and just slam it on your command and, start developing your softwares. But some companies like ours, we don't use open source code. If you come in as a developer, you must write your codes yourself. So if my job as an IS auditor or IT auditor, IS is information system, IT is information technology. So we're almost saying the same thing. So if I'm auditing your job as a developer, I will check where you're getting your codes from. If you're getting an open source code, and in my company, we have said nobody should use open source codes. You must be able to write your codes yourself. So if you are getting open source code, that's an observation for me as an auditor. So I will write it and say, okay, this person used an open source code and blah, blah, blah. And this poses a major threat to the company's infrastructure. Just put plenty grammar there like that. So the job of the IT auditor is really to look at, what the policies are in that tech company. And you now do a study and check the work the person is doing and be sure that this person is following the policies and procedures that have been approved, by management. All right. So the IT auditor also does the review of finances too. ITIS, we also do the review of finances, because in this space, most times, if you come in as an auditor, you work as an IT and IS auditor, and also work as an operational audit. Companies have accountants. They have that. So your job is to ensure that the finance part of the business is okay. Nobody's stealing. Accountant is not stealing. People are not selling off softwares without remitting money, or channels like that are not open for stealing. So there are accountants in IT, there are HROs in IT. This CSOs is a customer service officers, right? Yeah. So there are HRs in IT, but the difference between a regular HR and this HR here is that this person has an idea of tech. I'll give you a clear example. In my company, we don't, like I told us during that training in church, there is really no paper. We don't, everything that we do is done online. Everything is done through your system. All right. So we have an HR, and I need to I need to do something, maybe submit my documents or some. I don't need to send that document to HR's email. So what the HR department have done is they've created a software, all right, and they've created, once you come in as a staff, your portfolio is created on that software. Do you understand? Once you create your portfolio, they will require you to upload your certificates. You upload all your certificates, you upload, they will send you maybe like an acceptance form, you sign online, you send back, they will send you, and I'm sure during the course of this training, we should be able to maybe put you through on how to do some of these things, because I remember sending a document. Somebody wanted to do, wanted me as a guarantor, and it was like, I need to come to your house. I said, for what? He said, so that you can sign. I said, sign. You don't need to come to my house. Just send the document to me and I will sign it. And the person was like, but it's in PDF. I said, send, even if it's in PDF, any format that document is saved on, just send it to me. And the person sent me that document. And in less than 5 minutes, did a revert. I sent back the document, signed and filled. And the person was like, very fast. Now I said, no, you will have entered transport and come to my house and waste time first. So life is easy. So what our HR they've done is, from the point of your employment to the exit, everything is done on that platform. Your appraisal is done on that platform. They will create, once it's time for appraisal, they will load your space or your this thing, your profile, yes, your profile with your expected deliverables. Then you fill those appraisal this thing. You understand? You fill those appraisal forms. Then you click submit. It goes to your supervisor or your HOD. Your HOD looks at the appraisal forms that you have filled, then look at what you were really able to achieve within the period, and now rate you and say, okay, out of maybe 100, you score 75%, and it clicks approve, and it goes to HR. So, and at their own end, they have a data that comes very easy for them to interpret. So it comes with, for example, Ferdinand rating 80, HOD's remark, good. He is a very blah, 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 and it ends there. So there is no way any of these documents has to be downloaded somewhere, saved somewhere first before it's interpreted. No. So that's why I said I just needed to explain this. So in case we have HRs on the platform, you understand that, life has gone beyond scan your documents and send. It is, and I'm sure that we have there are HRO software solutions, like where I work, where we use Expert HRO, there are HRO software solutions that does exactly what I have explained. If I have an expense, I was sent on an official assignment, and my flight is 180K, for example, I would just apply to HRO. My flight is also amount, maybe because we have a company that does the booking. It's not like you just go to any company and book. So HR will now do the booking for your flight and maybe the hotel where you are sleeping there, and they send it. Any of the ESCO, MD or DMD, approves it and it flies. So I'm trying to explain all of this so that we understand that things have really gone far. Things have really gone far than. Yeah, Mr. Smart, I see your hand. I'm coming. Just give me a minute and I'll get back. So HRO, you can work in the IT space. As a customer service person, you can work in the IT space, but you need some technical knowledge. As an accountant, you can work in this space too, but you need to be able to use softwares. You cannot say you are an accountant and they say, how many accounting software can you use? And you're looking at the person like the person is speaking too much grammar. All right. So I think that's it basically for some of these roles. So Mr. Smart, you can go on and unmute yourself. I'll take your question or contribution. Thank you. Or is he having issue trying to unmute? Let me see. Oh, shit. Mr. Smart, kindly unmute. I think I've couldn't unmute. An HRO, I need a device that can store staff profiles database. Okay. Are they any difference? You need a device that can store staff profiles / data. Okay. We are here where paperwork should get there. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know, is this question coming from, the question is HR, I need a device that can store profile. Then Mr. Smart is saying, are there any difference? Can I get clarity around this? Okay, firstly, I would want to ask, Abosede, what do you use presently? How do you store data presently? Is it that they come with their documents and you just pile them up, or how do you do it? I think that will provide a better platform for me to answer the question. Wait, why are we having issues with unmuting ourselves now?
Everybody has been allowed to unmute now, so anybody who wants to unmute can now talk.
Yes, now please unmute yourself and let's discuss. The question is a bit vague. I want to know where you are presently. Filing system and most documents are get missing. Okay. Okay.
Good
After
evening.
this class,
Good evening, sir. Can
okay,
you?
yeah, but go on.
Yes, like I said, I'm an HR officer, but the system we use, I don't think it should still be used, like the paperwork filing system. And I think there should be a device or means where profiles, staff data, the same time using it interchangeably, can be stored, so that we just access it on the system instead of us looking for their files.
Okay.
Is there any way I can achieve that, sir?
Yes, you can. I want to be, yeah, I needed to understand what you meant first before trying to answer. Now, so some of these HR softwares are paid softwares. They are not free, really, they are not free. But what I feel you can do for a start, all right, is to have, is to create a Gmail account if you don't have any. But if you have do you have an official email? Do you have an official webmail?
Yes, sir.
If there's an official webmail,
No, we don't have.
you don't use official webmail,
Okay.
but use a Gmail, right?
Yes, please.
All right. So what you can actually do, there's I'm trying to wrap my head around how you can be saving it for individuals. But you can start with Google Form, all right, for the informations alone first, not their documents now. You can start with Google Form, and you now require staff to use the link that you have created. Just the same way we add your information from the training. We sent a link to you and you fill the forms and we had all your information, right? And we're sending mail to you, sending stuff, and created a WhatsApp group and added everybody. So what you can do is to create a Google form and fill some of those major details. For example, their name, their phone number, their position, present rank, the department, any information that you feel is key or is important, have them fill that first. All right. So once they have filled that, I would make more research and see if you can have any free software that you can be using, really, because most of the softwares are paid softwares and they really make life easier for HRs, really, because you don't have to be worrying about uploading and printing documents all the time. So that's it. I don't know if that addresses your concern.
To some extent.
We can take it out of this class. We'll discuss it better later.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Smart, I don't know if your question was in reaction to what she said. You said, are there any difference? Are there any difference? Okay. All right. So somebody asked a question earlier about cookies. Who was that even? Somebody asked a question earlier about cookies. Okay, madam, I think it's you, Abosedi. Yeah. Yeah. So when you visit websites, I would answer that question with a scenario. For example, was I the only one that was logged out or had that issue? Okay, so I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can.
All right. So when you visit, I would try to answer your question by painting a scenario, and I think that should give us a better understanding of what cookies are. I don't want to be too technical so that I don't lose my students. Okay, so the thing is, you pick your phone, and today you visit a website, all right, and you feel you try to make research around. Okay, sorry, Mr. Smart. I think it was a general thing. Yeah, sorry. So you try to buy something on Gigi, for example, or on Jumia. You buy, you order for a blender. Let me use that. You order for a blender, and the next morning you open your phone, you go to a different platform, let's say Konga, and you see that blenders are coming up. I don't know if have you ever experienced this thing before? You visited another site to something different from where you are visiting today. And you visit the new site and you have seen that because you were searching for Blender before on Jumia, you open Konga today and you find out that the first thing that are showing on your space is blenders. And you're like, did these people know what I searched for yesterday? And some people like, oh my God, is working wonders. I don't know if I've seen that. If I've seen that before, let me see a reaction on chat box. Sorry. Or maybe you were thinking of something, you wanted to do something, and you just open your phone and you find out that stuff that you were looking for before now starts lining up on one browser, and you be like, magic. Have you experienced it before? Yes. Okay. Who else apart from? Who else? You visited another site to do something, then you open another page, another day, and you're seeing that, because you were looking for maybe a center table on Jumia, you now open Gigi, you now see that center tables now be popping up. And be like, Shele, what's happening here? All right, so what happens with cookies is this. Once you visit a site and you fill in details on that site, exactly, thank you, Mr. Gideon. You visit a site and you fill in details. The system most times, on some sites, they'll ask you, would you want cookies, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you say no, or sometimes you say yes. Sometimes they will not ask you, but they will just pick those information and they save it on your device. So if you visit another site or another platform, your device has been tapped, your information has been tapped by that former site that you visited, and they've shared it. There's a central resource for some of this information, and that's why you will just be in your house. You receive a text message. If you want to access a loan, press this one. Or if you want a loan from PalmPay, dial click link. You have never thought of that before, but maybe it's because sometimes somewhere you filled your form and your phone number was saved there. I know because they have the access now, they just do that. So anytime you visit a site, anything you do on that site, they save it. So it becomes like a pattern. They save things that you like. They save those things that you are constantly looking for. And so when you come online, you see that those things will keep coming up on your dashboard. Even on the regular chats, even on Instagram, for example, if you are the type that watches videos of comedy, or if you're a sports person, you will constantly watch, when you go on Instagram, what you watch basically is about sports. You watch football highlights. If you open that page for search on Instagram, that page where you have those videos that will pop, is this search or what's that page here? I know it's not the home page, yes. You understand? You find out that they will have lined up a lot of sports-related activity. What internet does is it picks the cookies that they're talking about. Everything that you do, they will be saving it. So it becomes a lifestyle. That your system will be interacting with any new site you are visiting. Your system is interacting with that new site, and it's telling the site, this is Ferdinand. He likes football. This is Emeka. He likes this. It keeps giving you those things that you already, and you'll be like, which kind of magic is this? It is not magic. It is a function of what you have constantly done online, and that's why those things keep springing up, and that's cookies, really. So sometimes some sites will tell you, do you want to save? You now say yes or no, and all of that. So I think that answers the question, Madam Abosedi, right?
Yes, sir. Please, sir, is it safe to accept the cookies from what you have said, sir? Because they now
is
access to my data.
No, they don't have access to your sensitive data.
Okay, sir.
No, they don't have access to sensitive data. So it is left for you to say, you can decide not to accept. It's not compulsory, but it saves you stress when you accept cookies, because it builds a certain pattern for you. Do you understand? If you're the type that likes a certain kind of thing, and visit a site and it says save cookies, and you save your cookies or you accept and all of that, anytime you're visiting that kind of site or another site related to that site, you'll find out that some of those things that you'll be wasting time looking for will just pop up almost immediately. I don't know if you get it. So it's not, they will not save your personal identifiers. Personal identifiers, what I mean is your phone number, your BVN, your account number, those very sensitive information. Those are personal identifiers. They will not save it. They will just save your browser history. Yes, browser history. What are the kind of things that this person likes to watch? So anytime you visit online, they would, some of those things will easily pop up for you to watch them. Even on YouTube, that happens on YouTube too. So if you are the type that likes music videos, for example, if you visit YouTube, you find out they will have selected those kind of videos that you like, and they will populate it for you on that first page. So oftentimes you just come and if you watched, if you use a smart TV and maybe you watched a comedy show yesterday, if you on your smart TV and you go to YouTube, you find out that YouTube will have selected some other comedy shows again that you have not watched, and they will populate it on that your screen. And that's also part of what cookies does. So I'm sure I've answered that question. Thank you. So we have been able to deal extensively with the basic roles that are in IT. All right. So now the other part of this my slide was the part where I spoke about how do you start and all of that. And exactly what we're doing now is what I've identified there as how we should start. Take trainings, attend workshops, and invest time in it. It is not magic, really. Nothing here happens magically. There is nobody that can boast and say in 2 months I became an IT guru. Who does that? Even in 1 year, nobody can say that, really. But at least you'll have a direction, you'll have a roadmap, and you are sure that this direction is going to take me to where I'll get results. You understand? So it is important to invest money, time, just to develop your skill. So I will take 1 or 2 persons. Is there any person here from my presentation? Have you decided yet on the way to go? You can just type on the chat box. Just type on the chat box. From my explanation today, I have decided that I think I will do well with data science. I think I will do well with software development. I think I will do as a product manager. I think I will do well as, can I see all of that on the chat box? Thank you. I'm still open for your questions if there are any questions as we do this, really. But we're already rounding off. The training is supposed to be for 2 hours and we're almost 2 hours. Okay, Mr. Smart is saying data analysis. Okay. Okay. The complexity of the field matters. Yeah. Yeah. So it depends on how long you want to, how much time you have to invest in all of this. If you have enough time, I'll advise that you pick the one that you would want to say after a while you are satisfied that, and you are proud that you actually picked that one. Don't pick anyone because I feel this one is easier because it's easy. Let me just go for this one. Pick the one that you know that you would, after a while, you would look back and say, yes, thank God I took this decision. Don't worry about the time it will take. It is the best time to start anything is now, not tomorrow. Best time to start anything is now. When you say tomorrow, you have procrastinated, and who knows what tomorrow will bring to you. So once you decide, I'll expect that even this night you start doing your research around how you can start trainings that you can take and all of that. So I would want to thank us because I'm believing that there are no questions, and that's why I've not seen any hands raised. All right, so I would thank everybody for attending. And then next week, we're going to delve deep into networking. And we'll have maybe 1 or 2 professionals come around to share their experience, how they started, where they are now, and how you can start to. So next week we'll handle networking and the fundamentals of networking. Basically, that's what we'll be taking next week. So I expect that we'll have everybody here so that even if you have not made the decision yet, maybe when you listen to the nitty-gritty of that particular field, it would help you to decide, just like somebody said that the complexity matters, really. So you look at what is really expected, how long it's going to take you, and look at yourself and say, am I willing to give that, am I willing to sacrifice that amount of time, for this? So those are some of the questions we'll answer in the coming weeks, and I'm sure that, all of this will be worth the time and worth every resources that we're putting in this. So if there are no questions, I would request that we take a closing prayer and end the session. But I'll still give room for a minute or so. In case there are questions, let me see your hands. If there are no questions, I would expect, or I would believe that Omar was a wonderful teacher that was able to deliver on all that I've said this night.